What is up, guys? It is Marcus from Perspective Sports, and today we'll be talking about the 2019-2020 NFL playoffs and my predictions for it. And first, let's start by looking at each of the conferences and their standings. In the AFC, we have the Baltimore Ravens at number 1 at 14-2, the Kansas City Chiefs at number 2 at 12-4, the New England Patriots at number 3 at 12-4, the Houston Texans at number 4 at 10-6, the Buffalo Bills at number 5 at 10-6, and the Tennessee Titans at number 6 at 9-7. In the NFC, we have the San Francisco 49ers at number 1 at 13-3, the Green Bay Packers at number 2 at 13-3, the New Orleans Saints at number 3 at 13-3, the Philadelphia Eagles at number 4 at 9-7, the Seattle Seahawks at number 5 at 11-5, and the Minnesota Vikings at number 6 at 10-6. And here are the first round playoff matchups. We have Tennessee traveling to New England to play them. We have the Buffalo Bills traveling to Houston. And in the NFC, we have the Minnesota Vikings traveling to New Orleans and the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Philadelphia. And let's start with the Buffalo Bills traveling to play the Houston Texans. And people are going to try to turn this into Josh Allen versus Deshaun Watson, but you just can't do that in this situation. Who outplays who at the quarterback position is not going to matter because Deshaun Watson has to perform against this Bills defense. And this Bills defense is allowing the second fewest points, 16.4 points per game, to opposing teams' offenses. And so when you look at that, I think the Bills are going to get after Deshaun Watson. I think the Texans are going to struggle to extend drives, and that's saying a lot. The Texans are 7th best on third down. The Bills' defense is 9th best on third down. But I think the Texans will struggle to extend drives against this Bills' defense, meaning the Bills' offense will get multiple opportunities. They'll get a bunch of opportunities to score points. They'll dominate time of possession, and that's why I'm picking the Bills to win this game, 24-16. Now let's move on to the Tennessee Titans traveling to play the New England Patriots. And the Patriots have truly been a roller coaster. The beginning of the season, you were like, yeesh, how is anybody going to beat New England? But then you saw them against the Ravens, Chiefs, Bills twice, and the Texans, and you were like, oh, this team, not a lot of offense. But luckily for New England, this game will be played in Foxborough. And since 2013, they were 11-0 at home in playoff games. And yes, Tennessee has been hot. Ryan Tannehill has been good. Derrick Henry's been a monster. The defense has been really good. But I don't see Tennessee being the team to walk into New England and win. And so I'm going to pick the New England Patriots to win this game 27-17 because they're at home. And that's going to sound ridiculous to some people, but it's really not. When you think about having to go to Foxborough and play a game, that environment, they don't lose at home a lot. They haven't lost a home playoff game. I mean, since 2013, they're 11-0. And so it's going to be tough to walk into New England and win that game. I don't think Tennessee is the team to do it. Next, we have the Minnesota Vikings traveling to play the New Orleans Saints in a rematch of the Minneapolis Miracle. So be ready to see that same play about 100 times before the game starts. But the Saints have also been really good this year. They're 3-1 against teams currently in the playoffs. Their only loss came to San Francisco by 2 points. Their offense has been really good. Even without Drew Brees, they were really good. They're 5th in points per game allowed, and they're 8th in yards per game. Their defense has also been good. They're 12th in yards per game allowed and 14th in points per game allowed. So the team has been pretty complete. And then you have the Minnesota Vikings, who have also been good. Kirk Cousins finally looks comfortable. After a rough patch in the season, he looks comfortable with all the weapons they put around him. The defense is 6th in the NFL in points per game allowed and 14th in yards per game allowed. So the defense has been its usual self, smart, calculated, and really good at football. And so this matchup is going to come down to which offense will be able to make the play late in the game to get their team over the hump. And I'm going with Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. I just don't see Kirk Cousins, I don't want to say rising to the occasion, but for lack of a better term, rising to the occasion to beat the New Orleans Saints on the road. So I'm picking the Saints 26-13. Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks traveling all the way across the country to play the Philadelphia Eagles, who really snuck into the playoffs. The Eagles were 5-4 heading into their bye week, and they were going to drop their next 3 games in succession to the Patriots, Seahawks, and Dolphins. Boom, boom, boom. Here they are, 5-7. They would go on to win their next 4 games to make the playoffs, which included a Week 16 victory over the Dallas Cowboys that gave them control over their own destiny. But I want to go back to that Week 12 game against Seattle. It was a defensive game. The teams were combined 9 of 26 on third down. That's 34.6%. And I think this game is going to be a lot different for Seattle. I think Seattle will be able to get their offense going. It's been struggling recently, but I think they'll be able to get it going in Philadelphia and will be able to put up a big victory, 30-17. And this sets up a very exciting divisional round matchup that'll see the New England Patriots travel to play Kansas City, the Buffalo Bills travel to Baltimore, the New Orleans Saints travel to Green Bay, and the Seattle Seahawks travel to play San Francisco. And let's start in the NFC. We started in the AFC last time. Let's start in the NFC. And we have the Green Bay Packers hosting the New Orleans Saints. And the Packers theme this year has been winning and winning ugly, which leads to some pretty odd statements. Like, have you ever heard the term the worst 13-3 team ever? Like, I've never heard that till this year. Like logically speaking, would you rather just be the best 3-13 team ever? But that's logically how it works. But anyway, the Packers have been a really good team this year. They played a lot of good defenses. They've beaten the majority of them. And when you look at the offense, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been himself. But yet, when they needed him to show up, he has. The Packers' defense has caused turnovers. They're third in the league in interceptions. And on the other hand, the Saints don't make a lot of turnovers. They don't make a lot of mistakes, which will be another interesting matchup, the Saints offense versus Packers defense. But another thing is that people are overlooking is the fact that they have to play this game in Green Bay. This game in New Orleans is a lot different. But you have to go outside. The Saints have played 4 playoff games on the road since winning the Super Bowl. They've lost every last one of them. The closest they've came to winning was in a dome in Minnesota. When they've had to go outside, they have not played well in the playoffs. And that's exactly what they're going to have to do here in Green Bay. It's going to be cold. We know that. It's going to be windy. We know that. We don't know if it's going to snow. We don't know all the elements, but it's no longer in this conditioned dome. You have to go outside now. Put this game in New Orleans, I pick New Orleans. Put this game in Green Bay, I have to go Green Bay 24-20. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers hosting the Seattle Seahawks in the Trilogy, Part 3. And I think it'll be another great game. These two teams split the season series 1-1. Each team won the road game by 3 and 5 points respectively. But I think it'll be another really good game. I think the offenses will come a little bit more alive in these games. And these teams have so much in common. I mean, when you look at their roster, how it's constructed, there's a lot of similarities. They like to run the ball. They have really good defenses. They have receivers that can win one-on-one coverages. And it's going to come down to who I trust more and who I believe in more. And that's definitely Russell Wilson. Like we said earlier in the video, you can't put quarterbacks always apples to apples. But in this situation, I think the quarterback is the tiebreaker because Russell Wilson will be able to extend plays off script. He'll be able to scramble around, find a guy downfield, or scramble for the first down. And I just don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to do that kind of stuff. I really don't think Jimmy Garoppolo in this kind of environment, he hasn't been here. He hasn't been here. He hasn't started in these kinds of games. And I think it's going to show. I think it's really going to show when he has to play against the Seattle Seahawks team that's really good. Russell Wilson's a veteran. He's been there, done that. And that's why I'm going to take the Seahawks to win 35-30. Now let's move on to the AFC where we have the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the New England Patriots. And when it's Bill Belichick versus Andy Reid off a bye week. And we know Andy Reid off a bye week is phenomenal. He hammers out the game plan. He looks at everything he has in front of him, and he really develops a bulletproof game plan. But it's the playoffs. It's Bill Belichick. He's going to have his team ready as well. And when you look at that Week 14 matchup that saw the Chiefs march into Foxborough and win 23-16, it wasn't really that big of an offensive explosion. It was more of a defensive showdown. You saw Patrick Mahomes throw 283 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Brady struggled, 169 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Julian Edelman had a really good day, 8 receptions, 95 yards. But outside of that, it was defense. Or would we say just struggling offenses. And I'm about to use one of history's most dangerous phrases. This time it's different. It's really dangerous. And I'm probably going to regret it. But I'm going to choose the Patriots. Because the Patriots have N'Keal Harry. Sony Michel's looking better. Rex Burkhead's a part of the offense. I think the Patriots have made the necessary adjustments to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. Because when you go back and look at that game, it was the second quarter that won them that game. The Chiefs scored 17 points in that second quarter. And that was enough to win them the game. This time I think it's different. I'm going with the Patriots 31-28 in overtime. Next we have the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Buffalo Bills. And what I'm about to say is going to make a lot of people upset. But the Buffalo Bills are the last team the Baltimore Ravens want to face in the playoffs. I think the Buffalo Bills defense matches up so well against the Ravens offense. We saw it when they played earlier in the season. Lamar Jackson had just 40 rushing yards. Yes, he did toss 3 touchdown passes, but they'll clean that up. This will be the second time they face Lamar Jackson. And a defense of this caliber getting a second look at a player is going to change the entire game. Now, Lamar Jackson has been phenomenal. He's going to win MVP. He's going to do all those things. But the Buffalo Bills are built to stop this Baltimore Ravens offense. And I'm going 100% with my gut here. Not my brain. I'm going my gut here. I'm going to take Buffalo over Baltimore. I think the defense is going to get in a touchdown. 27-23. And that will bring us to the conference championships that'll see the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Green Bay and the Buffalo Bills traveling to play the New England Patriots. Now we have the AFC Championship game where the New England Patriots will be hosting the Buffalo Bills. And this is another trilogy. The only difference is the Bills got swept. They lost each game by 6 and 7 points respectively. But in this scenario, they'll be coming off a big win at Baltimore. High emotion, all the hype is coming in, the hype train's coming. If the Bills can do this, they can do anything, and I don't see it working. I see it coming crashing down in Foxborough when they have to play the New England Patriots, because the Patriots just have the Bills' numbers. The Bills haven't beaten the Patriots since 2016, so you'll be asking the Bills to go on the road in a place where they don't win often, playing against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in that defense, and to have them win that game, I just don't see it happening. In my scenario, the Patriots will be 12-0 at home since 2013. And again, I just don't see the Bills being able to break that streak. And so I'm going to have to pick the Patriots to win this matchup 20-13, and they will represent the AFC for the 4th year in a row. And in the NFC, we have the Green Bay Packers hosting the Seattle Seahawks in a 2014 NFC Championship game rematch that I really wish I'd forget, but it doesn't appear to be happening anytime soon. But this game will come down to, can the Packers play a complete game? Because they have offensive droughts, and they can get bad. J.K. Scott has punted 77 times this year, 8th most in the NFL. And the Seahawks defense will send all kinds of blitzes. I think they'll be comfortable trusting their corners in one-on-one coverages against the Packers receivers, because they'll force the Packers to show, do you have a number 2? We'll take Devontae Adams out of the game for the most part. We'll do what we can do to limit Devontae Adams. Allen Lazard, you got to beat us. Geronimo Allison, you got to beat us. Valdez-Scantling, you got to beat us. And I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on this Packers offense, and it'll force the Packers to punt a lot. And then they won't get a lot of opportunities, because the Seahawks like to run the ball, and they're going against the 23rd best run defense in football. So I think the Seahawks will be able to dominate time of possession. The Packers offense will have its usual offensive drought, except for the fact that they won't be able to get out of it. I really don't. Za'Darius Smith has done an excellent job this year. Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, they've all done a great job up front. They've also been really good pass rushers. But if the Seahawks don't have to pass the ball, they're running the ball down your throat the entire game, chewing up clock, getting all the way downfield, it'll largely take them out of the game. And that's why I'm picking the Seahawks to win this game 31-20. And in the Super Bowl, we have the New England Patriots playing against the Seattle Seahawks in a rematch. And I think it's going to be Seattle. And allow me to explain why. Seattle's going to give the Patriots defense a lot of trouble. We saw it with Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen. These mobile quarterbacks really give the Patriots defense a lot of fits because they're so aggressive, but if the quarterback gets out and can extend plays, there's trouble afoot. And when you look at Russell Wilson, the way he can read a defense, the way he can fit the ball in the tight windows, the throws he can make, he's a lot different than Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. He's on a whole different level. And yeah, I feel Tom Brady will play a good game. It's Tom Brady. It's the Super Bowl. He's going to play a good game. But I don't think it's going to be enough to keep up with the Seahawks offense. And so I'm going to go ahead and choose the Seattle Seahawks to win the Super Bowl this year, 30-24. Well, there you guys have it. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is who I have winning the Super Bowl. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me down in the comment section below. I look forward to reading the comments. See you there.